Hey guys, how's it going? It's Eli, and that's right guys, you read the title, you know exactly what this video is that I'm doing, and yeah, where I give my thoughts on a certain subject and such. Yes, one of those videos. Well, because yeah, you read the title, you know, and you know what this is that I'm going to be talking about, giving my thoughts on. Yes, so if any of you, maybe all of you heard about this, maybe some of you didn't. And if any of you, for the first time are hearing about this through me, yeah guys, it's true, because, I don't know, because this seemed like it came out of nowhere. Just one of those things, and not in a bad way, just, you know, hey, we're always up for any good surprises, are we not? So basically, it has been announced that on Disney Plus, the Muppets will have something brand new. And you know, because we know, of course, ever since Disney Plus began, it was going to be a perfect fit for the Muppets. Not just, you know, their past materials being on Disney Plus, not all of it, but still. But Disney Plus giving the Muppets the chance to really shine and to really do a lot on Disney Plus, and they have some ups and downs. Like, most prominently on the downside, we had Muppets Now, but for me personally, I liked Muppets Now. I didn't think it was that bad. You know, to me, because Muppets Now was just a bunch of craziness and all that shenanigans stuff. That's what the Muppets are good at. That's what you would expect from them. And on a higher note, on the upside, well, Muppets Mayhem, yeah, that turned out pretty good, and I'm sure you guys thought it was excellent too. Well, even after Muppets Mayhem came out, and sadly that was canceled, who knew what was next for the Muppets on Disney Plus? They had a few other things here and there after Muppets Mayhem, until now, where they are going to basically have a brand new show. And I guess you could say, to me, it's a 2.0. The Muppet Show is coming back, baby. Yes. Next year on Disney Plus, from the genius mind of Seth Rogen, good on him for doing this, the Muppet Show will be back in a brand new way. And the first special guest star, I'm glad to see that they're sticking with that, how they're calling the celebrities, you know, they're calling them guest stars, as they did in the first Muppet Show. Yeah, and that makes sense, of course. The first guest star for the new incarnation of the Muppet Show will be Sabrina Carpenter. And it's obvious I had to feature her in for the green screen backdrop, just, yeah, but why not? It makes sense. So, yeah. So with the first things I have to say about the Muppet Show's return in a brand new way, well, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I wasn't really surprised when I first heard about this, but obviously I am. I am looking forward to this, don't get me wrong, and I am a huge Muppet fanatic, and I'm sure the same goes for a lot of you. It's really great to see that the Muppets are coming back with a brand new version of the Muppet Show. I have a good feeling as though that for the Muppet Show, they cannot do it exactly as how the first Muppet Show was like. There's just no way, especially when Jim Henson was around, how he did the Muppets, and when the original Muppet Show happened. So, yeah. So I feel as though that, yeah, in a good way, the Muppet Show should be something fresh and new. Obviously, yeah, with going with the same title, but still, you know, I mean, probably they're going to, and there was a photo, a sneak peek photo released at Kermit's desk with his coffee mug, which has his name on it. So yeah, it looks as though we're going to get the backstage of the Muppet Show, and on account of the main stage itself, I presume that's what we're going to get. And I do wonder, because ever since Muppets Mayhem, they've been trying to build a Muppet cinematic universe, so it's hard to tell, because if, with what's going to happen with the new Muppet Show and what that story's going to be like, you know, and if it'll have any links with, like, say, Muppets Mayhem or anything. I mean, as if it's like any of the Muppet materials are all canon, okay? Just They just do random things. They have random materials coming out that are... Sometimes they're not really connected. But in the case of, like, say, well, I mean, Muppets Mayhem, there's a reference to Doc Hopper, and the same goes for A Very Merry Muppet Christmas, a mention of Doc Hopper's, and, yeah, and I believe, yeah, the same would go for the last two Muppet films, the 2011 Muppets film and Muppets Most Wanted, where, yeah, in some ways, like, I presume, like, they are canon to the first Muppet movie from 1979, and with the addition of The Muppet Show, but, you know, it's hard to tell. Yeah, really try and do the math on that very much, or if it's been officially said on what is connected with one another, and if it's on Google. Just, if you happen to know this, let me know in the comment section. And I'm glad to see that from what I've been seeing, I'm sure there are those out there, and if any of you are feeling the same way too, where a lot of people seem to be very positive about the return of The Muppet Show, and with the addition of whom the first guest star is going to be, and that being Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah, we all like Sabrina Carpenter. There's nothing wrong with her. It's great to see that she's been making a great success of her own with her music career. You know, I've most prominently known her for her acting side. Obviously, when you think of Sabrina Carpenter as an actress, what comes to mind? Well, for me, it would have to, of course, be, say, Girl Meets World. Yeah, in fact, that was one of my earliest introductions to Sabrina Carpenter. I, of course, known that even when she was acting on that, yeah, she had a bit of a music career, but I think at some point, yeah, like last year or so, her music career really kicked off. So, yeah, it's great to see that. Very fitting, because obviously, in the case of the Muppets, music is a big part of the Muppets, songs, etc. So obviously, they'd have to have a musical guest star. And very fitting that that's whom is going to be the first guest star for the new version of The Muppet Show. Yeah. I have no doubt, of course, that for the first episode, and from what I've seen, they say it's going to be a special. Well, I mean, is this going to be a full-time show, or is this going to be that one? I don't know, because I don't know that much. Maybe the same goes for you, but if you happen to know, please, by all means, let me know in the comment section as well. If there's any other missing details I'm missing, but that I didn't see. But also, yeah, because, yeah, and with the new Muppet Show coming out, very fitting, of course, it makes sense, with it coming out next year on account of the original Muppet Show's 50th anniversary. Hard to believe, just, yeah. Anybody who has, who grew up in the 70s, like, on account of my parents, and especially, yeah, because I most prominently remember my dad. He did watch the Muppet Show. I think maybe the same went for my mom. I'll have to ask her again, but, yeah. Let's shout out to my parents, because, yeah. So this is pretty... In fact, yeah, because I did inform my dad about this. He finds it really exciting. Also, Seth Rogen. Let's talk about Seth Rogen, because, yeah, Seth Rogen, if I didn't mention already... Yeah, I did. Almost forgot. Yeah, Seth Rogen, whom is responsible for bringing The Muppet Show back in a brand new way. Yeah, it's great to see that Seth Rogen, besides acting, he's been really great off camera as a writer and producer, and just seeing as how he just, you know, made a big success with winning a crap ton of Emmys for the show The Studio. If anybody watches The Studio, and from what I know, it's really good, and maybe some of you have enjoyed it. Yeah. So the work that Seth Rogen does off camera as a writer-producer, he's good at that. So I have no doubt, of course, he's going to do a fantastic job for The Muppet Show, and there's no doubt that Seth Rogen, well, obviously he would have to be a Muppet fan. Why else would he be a part of this and be bringing it back? Yeah. And by the way, because other people that have been a writer or producer on something Muppets, well, I mean, it's like Adam Goldberg from The Goldbergs, because, well, he had been doing a little bit of Muppets before, like, before The Goldbergs. I mean, he did say The Muppets Wizard of Oz, but thankfully, fast forward years later, he would find himself doing Muppets Mayhem, and that turned out pretty good. Yeah. Well, I guess on account of Muppets Wizard of Oz, it just had bad luck. I think to this day, and ever since, and even when I reviewed it, I feel as though that, yeah, Muppets Wizard of Oz, maybe it's not as bad as it was the first time. I don't know, but it's definitely still not a good piece of Muppet material. Just but I enjoyed it. It had potential. It could have been really good, like with Muppets doing Wizard of Oz. Come on, but again, just had bad luck. That's all. I think probably the worst thing, from what I've known, the worst piece of Muppets material, anything that the Muppets have done, probably, from what I know, is that thing that the Muppets did with Lady Gaga, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, would that be considered the worst ever piece of Muppets material than, say, Muppets Wizard of Oz? Maybe, but I want to hear from you. Yeah, if you happen to know this. Anyways. But yeah, so, with the mentioning of Adam Goldberg, also Josh Gad, because I don't know if you guys remember this. I remember knowing about this. Maybe it was planned for Disney+. I'll have to go back and look. But I remember hearing about this. That there was to be... In fact, Electric Dragon 505, a.k.a. Animat, he talked about this, where there was going to at one point be a new Muppet Show, which would have been centered and have taken place after the events of the Muppets Take Manhattan, where they're in, the Muppets are searching for their friend Ralph, and I think it would have had, some Stranger Things vibes, and not to mention that the writers of Lost and Once Upon a Time, they were going to be involved in this, and yeah, something like that being up their territory, I guess, but yeah, that would have been interesting, but sadly, that didn't go as proceeded, and it ended up being scrapped altogether. It would have been interesting to see what that would have been like, because, yeah, I really feel as though that Muppets Take Manhattan was probably, out of every Muppet material, the very serious one. It was like a very serious Muppet material. Obviously it was funny, humorous, but man, it had a lot of heart and emotional stuff. You know what I mean? And not to mention that Muppets Take Manhattan not once had any fourth wall break moments. No. But you get what I'm saying, just, yeah. But as of now, we're getting a brand new Muppet Show. It's about time, and, yeah. It's only been, It's been 2 years now since we had the last piece of Muppets material on Disney+, so, yeah. Won't be long until now that we get a brand new one. And it's great to see, again, that, the Muppet Show's coming back in a brand new way, being helmed by Seth Rogen. And, here's another thing. I meant to bring this up earlier, because I feel as though that any chance of the Muppet Show coming back had been talked about before. It had been high in the air. I remember hearing about this a couple of times. If one day the Muppet Show would come back, well, as of now, it is. Good on you, Seth Rogen. I applaud him for that. Yeah. Thank you, Seth Rogen, because, yeah, we can count on you for bringing back the Muppet Show, and it may have potential. There's no doubt, of course. And I'm sure Seth Rogen and the others that are doing this, they know what they're doing, of course. Again, as I said, there's no doubt that Seth Rogen would be a huge Muppet fan. And again, I say again, why else would Seth Rogen be a part of this and be responsible for bringing back the Muppet Show? Yeah. Not to mention because, yeah, with that on the way, we also have the Muppets taking over Rock and Roller Coaster. So that's another brand new piece of Muppets material we have coming up in the Disney park. So, yeah. Yeah, just overall, this is really exciting that the Muppet Show's coming back in a brand new way. I have no doubt that that's what's going to happen. Like I said, there's no way that the Muppet Show being brought back is going to be exactly how it was in the 70s and 80s and when Jim was around. There's just no way. Yeah. But, it may turn out good. We'll just have to wait and see. Fingers crossed. Let's hope so. For me, I have no doubt. I'm sure Seth's got this and everybody that's involved. Yeah. Yeah, and if there's any other details I've missed, because when I looked this up, all I was seeing was that it was going to be a special. No mentioning of it being a full-blown show. I don't know, because if you happen to know, let me know. But yeah, with all I've had to say about what we know so far, that the Muppet Show is coming back, helmed by Seth Rogen. Sabrina Carpenter is going to be the first special guest star. It's coming next year. And perfect timing on account of the original Muppet Show's 50th anniversary. Yeah, all exciting, all the above. And what about you guys? What do you think so far about the Muppet Show coming back in a brand new way? How you feel on, Sabrina Carpenter being the first special guest star, Seth Rogen taking the wheel at the helm, and, of course, a lot of you have watched the original Muppet Show, and thanks to Disney Plus, it finally made its way to Disney Plus. Also, because me and my dad, another mentioning of my dad, both me and him, we did review the Muppet Show from seasons 1 to 5 if you want to go check those out. Yeah, just saying. And again, if there's any details I've missed, just, let me know. And if you're excited for this, and if you're hoping, fingers crossed, this can succeed, and if you checked out Seth Rogen's other piece of work, like most prominently, The Studio. Yeah, and if you feel as though that, Seth has good potential. And if you feel the same way that, there's no doubt that Seth, he's a huge admirer / fan of the Muppets. Yeah. But, overall, what do you think so far about the return of the Muppet Show? And with what I've said, just leave comments and give this video a like, as always. And so, guys, with all that being said, I thank you very much for watching this video of me giving my thoughts on what we know so far about the return of the Muppet Show. And, until we get more updates and such, more information, I'll definitely do another one of these videos. I will see you guys in the next video. And all that's left for me to say is take care, peace out, and waka waka waka. Since I'm wearing animal, drums!